Hi, Grandma. I hope you're doing well today. I'm glad to hear that Dorothy's doing better after that bout of pneumonia that she had. But I wanted to go ahead and give you a little bit of information on diarrhea, as you had mentioned also the other day on the phone that several people you knew had it right now. So the best way for me to explain diarrhea to you is that someone could be said to have diarrhea if they have three or more loose or liquid stools in any given day. And then a clinical definition, someone that might go to the hospital or see a doctor, something that I tell them or that they present with, if they have acute or watery diarrhea lasting several hours to several days, persistent loose and watery stool lasting 14 days or longer, or acute or bloody diarrhea or stool that way. So you might be wondering, where does it come from or what's causing it? So the CDC, or the Centers for Disease Control, says that diarrheal germs are often spread from the stool of one person to the mouth of another person through either maybe drinking contaminated water, some kind of food source, or from objects that had something on it. And these things I'm kind of talking about here are various bacteria, viruses, and microscopic organisms. And some of these things I'm listing here next are these viruses, microscopic organisms, bacteria like Shigella, Salmonella, Campylobacter, E. coli, Cryptosporidium, Giardia, and rotavirus. And rotavirus you might have heard of. That's one of those that's present on some cruise ships that there have been several large outbreaks of it in recent years. Um, Another reason, a way that people end up getting diarrhea, people don't realize, is if someone's on a really strong course of antibiotics, that can then damage the good bacteria that we have that live in our gut, kind of wiping all of that out, so that when you're eating food, instead of that good bacteria then feeding on the food, that food kind of just goes through, and that's giving you that loose, watery stool at that point. So you might be wondering where it's affecting you. I was just talking about the gut a little bit. So I want to show you a figure here that kind of might point this out a little bit better to you as well. So there are three parts of your small intestine. Really, there's the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. And most of the time when people are having issues, they're having issues in the jejunum, or the middle portion of the small intestine, because that's where most of the digestion is occurring. Um, there are three parts of the immune system. They're located in the small intestine that really kind of help fend off some of these bacteria, the viruses, and these microscopic organisms. You have what we call Peyer's patches, small isolated lymphoid follicles, and also mesenteric lymph nodes as well. So what are some of the easiest ways to get rid of these diarrhea-causing agents, or just to kind of stay away from ours? If you're drinking good, clean water, you have adequate sanitation, that you're eating off of clean surfaces, that waste disposal is kind of taken care of properly, so throwing your trash away or even fecal waste is handled in the right way. Here in the United States, we really don't have to worry about that, right? Just going to the bathroom. And then also adequate hand washing. So if you're cooking, right before you eat or right after using the restroom, making sure you're doing those things. People who are kind of greater at risk for getting diarrhea, or young people, the elderly, and then immunocompromised people, because their body's already fighting other foreign invaders in their body right there, so they're having a harder time fighting off maybe something that might be more simple. Good news, there are certain treatments that you can take if you do have diarrhea. If it's left untreated, it can lead to severe dehydration and weight loss in people, because you're just eating food and it's kind of running through you without having adequate time for absorption. A lot of people end up getting IV therapy, and also needing oral rehydration. So I also wanted to share with you a simple way that you can make your own oral rehydration drinks at the house, instead of having to buy really sugary Gatorades or things like that that people think are good for you. So here's the little recipe right here. If you take 6 level teaspoons of sugar, as well as a half a level teaspoon of salt, and you dissolve all of that in 1 liter of water, that'll kind of make the perfect oral rehydration drink for you to have. And if you just drink on that over the course of several hours, that'll help to rehydrate you as well, instead of having to drink something else, like I said, one of those ultra sugary drinks. You can just simply make your own drink at home. There are 2 different vaccines to prevent, for one of those things I was telling you about earlier, the rotavirus. It's called Rotarix and Rototec, are the 2 vaccines that you can take. And it's been shown that 85 to 90% of all the severe cases were handled or taken care of by those people that took those vaccines. And a fun fact, I shared some with you about pneumonia, but a fun fact here about diarrhea is that rotavirus actually causes over 500,000 deaths worldwide in children under the age of 5. So I hope I provided some kind of good, useful information to you today, Grandma. I hope you have a good rest of the day. Bye.